Hi everyone, Anchita this side. Welcome to AV Automation Hub. In today's video, we are going to learn about 5 basic AI terms that every tech professional should know. This video is not only for developers or QA or product. This is for anyone who wants to learn more about AI and who wants to know about the AI terminologies which are used in the market today. So let's get started. The first one is machine learning, which is often called as ML. Machine learning is the process of teaching your computers to learn from data and make decisions without being explicitly programmed for every little thing. It learns from the experience and it improves over the time. So, what does it mean in the real life? Just think about YouTube. First time when you signed in, it had no idea what you like. But after a few days, it will start noticing the patterns, what type of videos you click on, which ones you watch till end, which ones you skip after 5 seconds. So based on these patterns, YouTube start recommending more of what it thinks you will like. And this is all what system learns from your behavior. So that's machine learning in action, where computer finds pattern in the massive amount of data and uses those patterns to make the prediction. And it's not limited to only YouTube. Machine learning is everywhere. For example, Netflix. It learns based on your behavior and then recommends some shows or movies accordingly. Amazon is second example. Suggests you based on your shopping behavior. These are the things you might like. And not only Amazon, Netflix, you can also see this in Gmail or let's say Google Photos. It will group all your photos together using the facial recognition. And this is all based on learning patterns from the images. So in short, machine learning is basically computers which are learning from the experience, and over time, these predictions get better. So let's just write over here some examples. So, like I said, first example is Netflix edition. It recommends the shows similar to ones which you have watched. All right. So the second term is large language model, also called as LLMs. So now that we know how machine learns pattern, now let's talk about the large language model. So just think of LLM as a super smart librarian who's read entire internet, books, blogs, forums, and even the comments. And now you can ask it anything. But it does not think like us, it just predicts the next most likely word based on everything it has read before. It is called as large language model. So why large? Because these models are trained on billions of web pages with hundreds of billions of parameters. So that is the reason they can understand the context, your tone, and even write like a human. So LLMs can help you in writing the emails, plan the travel, debug the code, or summarize the document for you. Some of the popular LLMs in the market are we have GPT-4, we have Gemini, which was formerly known as BART, which is developed by Google. We have Claude, which is developed by Anthropic. So these are some of the popular LLMs in the market. Now moving on to the next one, which is generative AI or often called as Gen AI. So machine learnings and LLMs mostly analyze or predict, but Gen AI it goes a step further. It creates new things from the scratch. So you give it a description and it will create image or text or even the code. For example, ChatGPT. It creates text based content like stories, answers, emails, or even code. Next one is GitHub Copilot. It helps programmers by generating the code snippet or completing the functions. Other example is Canva AI tools. It generates media graphic or presentation. So let's just write over here some of the examples. For example, GitHub Copilot and Canva AI. So these are some of the examples of Gen AI. They use advanced AI models to generate the new content, including the code, images, or even designs directly from the user prompt. Moving on to the next terminology, which is prompt engineering. So this simply means how well you can ask an AI for what you want. For example, if you ask AI write test cases for login, you might get something very generic like test valid username, password, invalid username, password. It's quite basic. It is missing some important details or missing some edge cases. But in case if you ask AI with a detailed prompt, for example, write 5 detailed test cases for a login page covering valid credentials, invalid password, empty username, password, reset link, or account log, then you will get much better in specific test case. For example, verify login with valid username, password, verify error message appears when the username is empty, when the password is empty, verify clicking the forgot password. So in short, the clearer and more detailed your prompt, the more useful and accurate the AI's output will be. And if you give vague prompts, you will always get vague results. But if you tell the AI who you are, what you need, and the context and the format, you will always get powerful and useful answers. Another example is, let's say you ask your chef, make food for me. So you might get plain rice. But if you ask, make a spicy cheese pizza with mushrooms and pepperoni, now you will get what you wanted. So that's prompt engineering, learning how to provide a better context. So let's write example over here. For example, you are a QA and you want to generate test cases. So you can write something like this. Write 7 detailed test cases for the user registration form, including validation for mandatory fields, email format, password strength, and duplicate username. Another example is if you're a developer and you want to generate API code for the user login. So what you can say, generate a REST API endpoint in node.js. So why this matter? Because better prompts give AI more context so that it can create more relevant and ready to use result, which will save your time and effort. Otherwise, if you give a basic prompt, so in that case, what will happen? If your expected result is not matching, you will keep on asking and it will keep on modifying the result for you. So that will waste a lot of time. So in this case, if you want better results, then you have to provide a better prompt also. Now, the next terminology is RAG, which is Retrieval Augmented Generation. So it's a technique where your AI first searches a knowledge base or the internet to fetch the most accurate, up to date information and then writes the answer. So it's like giving the AI a research assistant. It's great for company specific data, customer support, or even internal tools. So RAG combines two main steps: retrieval, where the system pulls the relevant information from external sources or database, and the second one is generation, where it will use that information to create accurate context awareness. And Perplexity AI, it applies all this approach by searching up to date, trustworthy information online and then generates the answer based strictly on the retrieved content. So, for example, just imagine you ask your robo friend what is the latest price of iPhone. So, without RAG, it will guess based on, for example, 2023 data. But with RAG, what will happen? It will check internet, it will read the current articles, and then it will give you the latest price. So, RAG is basically your smart robo plus the real time research. So, let's write some examples over here. So, this is about RAG. So these are the 5 AI terms which we have learned today. So now let's quickly recap. First one is machine learning. So machine learning is basically computers learning from the patterns. Next we have LLMs. So LLMs are like AI trained on the internet that talks like human. For example, GPT for or Gemini or Claude. Next one is Gen AI. So Gen AI is basically creating the brand new content. For example, logos, stories, images, or even the code also. Then we have prompt engineering, which basically means knowing how to ask AI clearly. And then we have RAG, which means AI that fetches real time info instead of relying only on its internal memory. So that's about 5 AI terms which you should know. Now, what you can do, you can just pick Claude or Gemini and you can try it with a better prompt. Be specific, be clear, and you can see the differences for yourself. So now you can easily participate in the AI discussions with full confidence. For example, in next meeting, if someone used a term like RAG or LLM, now you will understand what they are referring to. So that's all for today's video. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And thank you for watching AV Automation Hub.